Today in the Fresh Brew Run Club, I'm talking about the durability of the outsole on the Nike ZoomX Invincible. Welcome back to the Fresh Brew Run Club. So for today's video, I'm once again talking about the Nike ZoomX Invincible. So I have made many videos about the shoe, reviewing it after one run, after 100 miles, after 500 miles. And one topic has kept coming up in the comments of those videos that I didn't cover as much as I would have liked. And that is, how does the outsole of the ZoomX Invincible wear down over time? I think that's a great question. I actually found something very interesting that's happening between the original pair that I ran in and then the newer pair that I'm running in right now. But first, let me jump into the actual outsole. So I think it's worth mentioning I'm a heel striker, so I'm going to wear down the heel much faster than I wear down any other parts of the shoe. So this is 500 miles of wear and tear. You can see I've worn through the rubber and gotten into that ZoomX foam. That started at about 450 miles with this shoe. I've also worn down some of the outsole in the toe area. Those are the major points of wear and tear on this shoe for me, but that really is based on how I run, how my foot strikes the ground. So those are the two major parts of wear and tear. Once I kind of broke through this, which that happened at about 450 miles, so this is 500 miles. So once I broke through that rubber to the foam, this started to grow. So I don't know how much more I could get out of these shoes. I started to get a little bit of knee pain, so I retired these at 500 miles. So I'd probably recommend running in these for about 450 miles. But that is the main way the outsole wore down. Like I said in my initial 500 mile review, these held up really well. I've never run in a shoe for 500 miles, and the fact that they're relatively intact is really impressive to me, especially compared to some other shoes. The Pegasus Turbo is one, for example, that I think within 100 miles I've worn through the rubber, so it's extremely durable. Now, what was surprising, like I said, I got 500 miles in these. These are the shoes that I'm currently running in, the ZoomX Invincibles, again, just a different colorway. And I have run 350 miles in these, and I find it very interesting that on that right side again, and I don't know if you can see this, I'll try to get a zoomed in angle, I have already broken through that foam, which is very interesting. And this happened at about probably 320 miles. I have 350 miles on these right now, but I broke through the rubber to the foam much faster than I did with the ZoomX Invincibles that I first started running in. I was like, what is going on? Why is this happening? I did a little bit of research. I looked at the distance and the pace that I ran in both of these shoes and found something interesting. So most of my running in the original pair of ZoomX Invincibles took place while I was training for a 5K, whereas right now I'm actually training for a marathon, which is the Cleveland Marathon in May. So it's a little bit of a different style. So I looked up the pace. I ran, like I said, 500 miles in these, and I ran an 8:14 pace in these. Obviously, I'm running much faster in a 5K than I am training for a marathon. My average pace in these is 8:33. So I find it very interesting that just a difference of 19 seconds per mile seems to make such an impact that I have worn through the bottom of these shoes already. I think that is fascinating. I think it actually makes a lot of sense. The faster I run, I think the more I'm running on my toes, whereas when I'm running slower, I'm using my heel a lot more. Plus, I did a few more treadmill runs on this, which if you look at the sort of material that makes up the treadmill tread or the mill, I'm not really sure which part that is, but whatever the thing you run on is almost like kind of like sandpaper. So I think those two factors contribute to the fact that I am burning through these shoes much quicker than I am through these. So I made a whole video about how these are great. You're gonna get 400, 450, 500 miles in them, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it really kind of depends on your pace, the surface you're running on. It makes a lot of sense when I say it out loud, but when it actually happens and I can see the pace and where I'm running and the types of runs I'm doing, it just really brings it home. So I just wanted to make that video and show kind of what the wear pattern might be. Again, I have 350 miles on these. I'll probably be able to get maybe 50 more miles before I finally do retire them. They've held up. They're in great shape. They're very dirty because they're a white shoe, which is something you don't see with the black shoe. But I mean, they are performing really well. I just happen to burn through the heel a little bit faster. That is today's video. If you have any questions about the ZoomX Invincible or the outsole or the wear pattern or how I'm running or my thoughts on these, I have a bunch of videos. Also leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon.